Thank you very much, Kajol, for joining me on Times Now. It's not often that I do a film interview with an actor as accomplished as yourself, but I must say I'm having a fangirl moment with you. We've seen you growing, and our career spans, I think, around 3 decades, just as much as you've spent in films, I've spent in journalism. Uh,
Wow.
wow, wow
Wow.
to you too. And from Bekhudi right up to Ma, uh, how do you look at your growth as an actor, as a person, uh, as the role as a human being that you've played in these 3 decades plus?
I think I have worked very, very hard on who I wanted to be on screen, off screen, and and to be perceived as. And I'm kind of happy with all three versions right now. I still have a lot of work to do on all three versions. I will say that. I think as an actor, I have had a lot of unlearning to do in a large part of my career. I had to unlearn everything that I had learned in the first 10 years of my career, and 10, 15 years I had to unlearn everything and then relearn how to I wouldn't say how to act, but yeah, how to work the camera again. So
Why
that
would
was
you say
another.
that? Why unlearn? You've had the biggest blockbusters, from Bazigar onwards. Bekhudi, I don't know how big it was, but from Bazigar onwards, you haven't looked back. DDLJ, oh my God.
Oh, the world changed. The world changed. The world of cinema changed. It wasn't me so much as the world of cinema changed. The way movies were made was changed. I think because of the influx of OTT, it became an audience that saw a lot more. So, so everything that you did in front of the camera that you thought was foolproof at that time because you had done it, you had seen yourself doing it, and it worked on camera, was suddenly not working anymore. So I think it was at the time of We Are Family. I think just before Yug was born. At that time, I realized that I said, no, I will have to change everything. I will have to change this, this technique that I think that I have right to something else. I will have to unlearn and I will have to relearn this pattern because something has to break. This is not working anymore for me.
But the technique that you talk about, what was the technique in Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge? What was the technique in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? What was the
So
technique in
it's a very I don't know how to explain it, but it's like those films were all every film of mine is made from the heart. Yes, there is no real, you have to just, and there's a lot of honesty in front of the camera that is very difficult to fake. You have to be honest for those 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute that you're in front of the camera. But with that honesty, also there's a certain, I don't know how to explain it. It's like it has to be more real than it was. For Dilwale and Kuch Kuch were great performances. I don't know what, if I looked at it today, I would probably do some things different in
like
that
what?
film. As an
Tell me.
actor, as an actor. I mean, it's just, you look at every film and you always say that, I would have liked to do this, maybe this a little better, this a little differently, maybe this a little slower, maybe this a little faster. All of that, you always have those doubts as an actor. And as you grow, as you get better or as you change, you feel that okay, that was great for that time, but if today I had to do something like that, it would be a completely different film altogether. So yes, but as an actor, you have had to relearn the world of acting completely.
So there was a big break in between, and then came Fana.
Right.
Uh, what happened in between? Did Kajol change? Did the process of filmmaking change? What changed?
I think at that time I wanted to have a baby. I wanted to concentrate on that, and I wanted to have a baby and spend time there. Like I chose to give more emphasis to that part of my life because it truly, truly mattered to me that I do this right, and I had to give it my whole and soul attention. it was like the biggest exam of my life. Like I had to get an A plus. B minus would just not do. So yeah, so I took those 5 years to have Nissa, to be there, to make sure that I was doing it as right as I could. And when I did do Fana at that point of time, Nissa, I think, traveled with me all over. She was with me most of the times in Poland and in Delhi, etc. She traveled with me and whatever. But I remember thinking to myself that, oh my God, I'm working and I'm on a set, and and there's that guilt factor that, oh God, I'm on a set, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying myself, and I have a baby at home, and I had all the help, and I had my mother-in-law, I had my mother, I had my sister, I had everybody. It's not that I didn't, but at the same time, you still have that feeling inside you that nobody can look after your baby the way you can. You always have that thing. सिर्फ मैं ही इसको सबसे बेस्ट कर सकती हूँ. So only I can change her nappy the way she wants me to change her nappy, or only I can feed her the way she needs to be fed. So all of that. But so I took that 5 years to spend time developing another part of myself.
And yes, you're right. The guilt with working mothers is something I think all working women really go through. But when you do a film, how much of it is Kajol, your own homework, and how much of it is, you being the clay for the director to play with?
I think it's a lot of it's 50-50 really. It's 50-50, and it has to be that way. I depend on my director completely. I would say that my performances are due to my director. I have had some fabulous directors whom I've worked with, some not so fabulous directors whom I've worked with.
Name them.
But no, I can't name them. The not so fabulous I can't name. Fabulous directors I'll name for you any day.
No, but okay, the ones who are not fabulous will know because they haven't been named. So please name the fabulous directors.
I've worked with Ajay Devgan, who was another fabulous director. He is a fabulous director. I loved working him. And yes, I know I can see the expression on your face that you want me to take another name.
Ajay Devgan, husbands, I'm not talking about magazines and film interviews where you have to say, but husbands normally, husbands and wives working together is not a fairy tale.
I know it really isn't, but I have to say in his case, he was amazing, because I remember during You Me or Hum, when we were talking about it, I remember during You Me or Hum, in the last leg, I think the last 3 months, my dad was in hospital. And he was really, really unwell. He was in the ICU, and my daughter was, I think, 1.5 at that time. Or I don't know how old she was. I think maybe 4. I think she was 4 at that time. And I remember that he would call me on set, and he would pack me up by 4:30. He would make sure that I came for that particular time, and I went off by 4:30 because he knew I had to go to the hospital. I had to go meet all the doctors, and we were shooting in Film City, and it was far away with the traffic and everything, and to keep all that, and then come back and then be ready to shoot the next morning at 7 o'clock. But yeah, he made that effort to make sure that as a director, and at the same time, I never felt pressured as an actor that, oh my God, what am I doing to production? Or, am I stopping the shoot? Or am I delaying the shoot by taking this time out or anything like that? So, and one of the most, I would say, a cool director. He had his 4 cameras set up. I really have to give him that kudos to him. I'm sure you think that he's a fabulous actor, but I think he's a far finer director. I genuinely
do. He's the producer of your latest film, Ma.
Yeah, I'm not praising him because of that. I promise you, I'm not praising him because of that.
No, why do I get extra muska that you are maruing?
Na?
Yeah.
Agli picture ke liye soch lena.
Okay, so Ajay Devgan tops the charts. Karan Johar, Eat Your Heart Out.
No, I would say Karan as well. Karan, Adi for that matter. A wonderful director. Lots of directors. Renuka, what a fine director. Renuka Shane, what a fine director in Tribhanga. So, lots of very, very fine directors that I've worked with.
Okay. So tell me, this whole film about which, you're making this big effort, Ma.
Yeah.
it has horror and Ma. So Ma, I thought, you can carry that role, being a solid, very, very aggressive mom. And, most moms are like that. But a horror angle to that, how does that work? Are you the horror story or is there somebody else
But
who's the
I scare people in real life. I don't need to go on screen for that.
horror?
No, but actually, it's a really interesting story because we started out with a concept, which is one of my most favorite mythological stories, which is Rakta Bij and Kalima.
Yeah.
Kalima and Rakta Bij's story. I think it's a very famous story. I have told my children and scared my children with also. And when I heard the concept, I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic, and bringing it into the modern world. And we initially wanted to write it as a really tight thriller, to put it like a really, really tight thriller. But when we got done with the script, we realized that the characters and the situations had become far bigger than we anticipated. And it required the tag of horror to bring it to justice, to make the audience feel justified that, okay, you've created these huge characters and you've created this great drama and this great, space for it. You have to make the person also, you have to validate that. And it does not get,
Otherwise,
it would not have been validated. You couldn't have had,
Underwhelming?
It would have been very, very underwhelming. And it wouldn't have, a climax wouldn't have worked where you come and, you shoot him in the head and walk off or whatever. You need that. You need the drama, you need the space, you need the horror, the mythological feel to it, the supernatural world. We needed all of that. So that's where the mythological horror tag comes. And that's why I did it. So
your father was Bengali, your mother is Maharashtrian, and somewhere in between you,
I'm a trained Punjabi also in between.
है ना? That came very in the Sarson Ka Khet in DDLJ.
Bilkul,
I think the
bilkul.
Punjabi element came in very well.
But that is one thing I have to tell you. This is a really funny story that I remember DDLJ released, and I remember thinking that, well, when I knew it was a hit film, I was driving from Film City. I remember it so clearly. And I was driving from Film City and I have stopped at a signal. And this truck has come and stopped at the signal next to me. So I'm very casually looking up to see, and I see the truck driver looking at me. He's got this expression on his eye, "Hi, Meri Simran."
I know.
And I had this like weird expression, like that's a damn weird expression for a truck driver to have on his face towards me. But yeah, that's the
But
feel.
do you
and
know what you've
that's
done
the
to
vibe.
Indian marriages?
I've
After
spoiled them.
Absolutely. Because everybody wants a Raj and a Simran romance and a marriage and whatever. And if you're,
But I want to tell you that nothing happened. The marriage never took place in the film, right?
yeah. But I mean, in Hindi movies, you have to imagine that that's the happy ending.
Absolutely.
Frankly, I wouldn't see a movie which didn't have a happy ending. 3 घंटे बैठने के बाद, and we see so much of reality in our lives.
Yeah,
that make believe world, frankly, for romantics like us, is very nice, where everything is nice and
Yeah, and you have a happy ending. 3 घंटे के बाद ऐसा तो लगना चाहिए कि Shanti said, that is why we have made a mythological horror for you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't bear a separation at the end of.
No, everybody should come out alive.
Alive and have live happily
They lived
ever
happily
after.
after,
Yeah, that's very important to some of us. However badly Mills and Boon are trashed, but the happy ending leaves you with an afterglow.
And it's great that you know at the beginning of the book, right, that
that there
you're
will
going to be that there will be a happy ending. Yeah, you're reassured by that.
Yeah, true. But you say filmmaking has changed. OTT has come in. Right now, your film is releasing on the 27th of June, but we are already hearing some box office collection reports and whether it is as much as your last film, more. How does that happen and how does that impact your thinking when you're making a film?
Honestly, I can't let it. I really can't let it. I can't concentrate on that aspect of it. Otherwise, we would be paralyzed and we would never make films. because it genuinely is something that can play on your mind and drive you mad and make you do things that may go against your better judgment at a more stable time in and place. So I think that that's something that you have to kind of take into a practical consideration and give it its due amount of attention. But you can't let it overwhelm your quality, your content, or what you want to say with the film. And yes, as time comes closer, you get that, you get those butterflies in your stomach that, like बच्चे को पहले दिन मुंह दिखाई की फीलिंग आती है कि इसके बाद पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है, लोगों को पसंद आएगी नहीं आएगी. Yeah, but and all that is there in your control is for to make sure that everybody knows that it's releasing and that that they have this chance and that they can come to the theater, etc. And that's all that's there in your control. You don't have the control, or can't control anybody's reaction to it. You can't control anybody's overreaction to it either. So I think you have to give it that time, space, and just kind of do it, take a deep breath, and then look at
But
the
you're
whole
also,
thing.
for lack of better word, though I'm quite a feminist, but just to set the cat amongst the pigeons, you're also the Mrs. Producer, no? So does it put pressure on you? Would your husband, be looking at the success, the commercial success closely? Does that
Commercial success does matter. I wouldn't say that it doesn't matter at all. Of course, commercial success matters. Commercial success is practical proof that you have done well. It's a tick mark. It's an plus A grade, on your paper, on your exam paper. So it's not the same as somebody telling you that, oh, you wrote a good paper, but we can't give you this grade. For it to have failed at the box office is like that. That, oh, you wrote a great paper, but we can't give you this grade because of yada, 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 yada circumstances. So yes, of course, commercial success matters. And as a producer, it matters more. But again, I think my husband and me both have that attitude that after Friday, it's not in your hands anymore. जो करना था उस वक्त तक वो आपने कर लिया है, वो आपके हाथ में नहीं है. And yes, it upsets you when it doesn't do well. I've not had too many upsets for a while now. But again, I think that I'm balanced that way. I'm not going to get out and like go mad and scream and run on the streets when it does well, or sit and wail and bang my head on the floor if it doesn't do well. So it has to be a happy balance
Kajol,
between the two.
you've always sent kind of a person self, and some of those roles that you've played, whether it is Anjali in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, or Simran, or K3G, where I just love the Punjabification of and you did it just so naturally. Has that part of you changed a bit as you do more mature roles now? Or is that Kajol also there somewhere inside?
Oh, very much present. Very much. And a lot more. I feel there's a lot more of her. There is a lot more of Anjali and all of her, in me. And then probably the mature person. I should be a lot more mature. But like I said, as an actor, I think that it's like I said, I hope that I have a bouquet of roles to choose from. So as an actor, I hope that I'm able to mold myself to what is needed for which film. But I think if I had another K3G to do, I'd kill it.
How is it to be a famous mother for kids who've dealt with fame, maybe, but too young to probably understand? What's been the process of bringing them up and the do's and don'ts that you've followed?
It's been difficult on certain days because being a famous person means that I cannot do certain things with them. Like I cannot go on a trip with them, or I cannot, take them out to public places without security or making it an issue like an entourage or something like that. I have tried to do as much as I can with them normally, or, take them wherever I can. But yes, there have been places where I've told them that you're going to have much more fun without me than you would with me. You'll have much more fun going to this party or whatever without me than you would having me there. So yeah, I've missed out on that aspect of it and not felt good about it. But I think they have learnt the parenting do's, I would say, would be to I have sat down and I have talked and talked and talked myself hoarse on every topic from parenting. That listen, it's if it's difficult for you, it's difficult for me as well to see you like this. From trolling to everything, to death, to living, to
That's morbid. Death.
yeah, but the thing is that it's also part and parcel of life, and we've had a few, deaths in the family, and it, yes, it's heartbreaking, but it's also part and parcel of life. ये होना तो है सबके साथ. This is the end for everybody. Everybody, that is your final destination or whatever. So yes, we've had very intense conversations and non-intense conversations. But the point was that to parenting, I felt was that I think I just kept talking to them as much as possible about everything, giving them this viewpoint, that viewpoint, the world's viewpoint, my viewpoint, their own viewpoint, and making sure that each and every viewpoint was heard.
And have
Maybe
you
not
heard them?
accepted, but heard at least.
When you have a mother and a father, both parents in showbiz, and very, very famous, having their own followings and their own set of friends, their own set of high life, life with the camera lens always trained at them. How is it? Do the fathers also participate in the upbringing, or is it left to you as the mother? How does it work? How do the mechanics work?
I think it has to be a dual-ended approach. It cannot be only one person's this thing, because we are two people. I mean, we are two parents. We are two parents who are looking at our children as a joint project. We are two MDs, I would say, of a company.
Who's the chairperson?
And I would like to believe that I am at some point, and he
He's
would
the
like
MD,
to believe.
you're the chairperson?
See, I believe that I'm the chairperson. He believes he's the chairperson. So we're both delusional and very happy that way. So, and it has to be, it can never be, if there are two people involved, it can never be only one person's. It doesn't work like that. It's an unfair balance of things.
And who does Nisa listen more to?
I don't know, really. I like to believe that I talk her into things a little easier.
Okay.
And her father just looks at her, and that's the end of the discussion 90% of the time. Yeah,
I know. He
Yeah.
is that, even his screen persona is that.
very much monosyllabic.
बहुत ही कम बोलते हैं. But he's Punjabi too, no?
Yes, he is.
And how does he speak so little?
I don't know really. I really don't know. Seriously, I asked him once. I said, "पूरे खानदान को देख ले. I'm not the only one."
I know.
So
And Yug?
Yug is as in.
I mean, who does he?
He listens to both of us. He's a sweetheart. He listens to both of us. Kind of. He's charming. He knows how to get his way from both of
The
us.
younger siblings are
Yeah.
always like that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Nisa will notice what you said.
I'm
He's
hoping
very-
she doesn't watch this.
He's very
interview.
charming. Are you saying Nisa isn't? But maybe girls at that age.
Nissa is very, very. Yug will charm you into his way of thinking. Nissa will debate you into her way of thinking. That's the difference between the two.
But tell me, do you have a say in their career choices, what they want to be? Do they discuss that with you?
You have a say up to a point. You have a say up to a point, up to a practical point to say, is this a workable solution or not? But I think at the end of the day, they have to decide for themselves what they want to do. Sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes they have to, go through 3, 4, 5 things that, work, don't work, all of it. But I think the only thing that you can do is, again, listen to them, hear them out, and let them sort everything out for themselves. I don't think you can sort that out for them.
So, for example, what would Nissa want to do with two parents in showbiz? Is it natural to expect she would want to go that route?
It is natural, maybe, but as a person, I don't think she definitely does not want to come into movies.
She doesn't. And as a mother, are you like on tenterhooks? Oh, she's gone out for this party. When is she going to be? Are you that kind of a mother, or are you just chilled out?
I am up to a certain point, but I'm not. I don't overthink it too much. As long as she's messaging me and she's telling me, okay, I'm going to be coming back and this is the time and whatever. I know she's sensible, she's smart, and I have to have faith in my own upbringing as well.
I know. It's something that we all tell ourselves, and then when the kids don't message for an hour after midnight, and you're still on tenterhooks, कि upbringing तो ठीक है, आएंगे कब घर? Does that happen to you?
Yeah, it does. But again, like I said, I have, Nissa's really like that way. She's quite cool like that. So she messages me.
She messaged that, and big hug to kids who do that, because mothers can be on tenterhooks. So let me ask you, who are you better friends with amongst the Khans? Amir, Shah Rukh, and Salman. Who do you think is the best, coolest guy that you can be friends with? Who's the best actor amongst them?
Salman is great. Salman is, he's a fab guy, and he's a superstar.
Some fun questions, because
It's getting a little soppy.
Serious Kajol is not something that the world is very used to. So let me ask you, who are you better friends with? I mean, everybody's talked about the fairy tale on-screen jodi that you've had with SRK, but amongst the Khans, Amir, Shah Rukh, and Salman, who do you think is the best, coolest guy that you can be friends with? Who's the best actor amongst them?
As an actor, I would say it's a toss-up, really. It's a toss-up between Shah Rukh and Amir.
Okay.
I think as actors, I think they've pushed the envelope quite a few times in their careers and tried the most amazing things, and actually like transformed themselves quite a few times, successfully and unsuccessfully.
Unsuccessfully? Which one? Which one?
I'm not saying that. But
they're friends.
But they are, and both are really, really cool people to be friends with, I would say. Yeah.
And Salman Khan, not so.
Salman is great. Salman is, he's a fab guy, and he's a superstar till today. Again, he's a good friend, but yes, I am probably closer to Shah Rukh and
there were all these stories that legends are made of, that Ajay Devgan, Shah Rukh Khan, different camps. Does it work like that in the film industry?
I don't know whether there are camps anymore. I mean, at one
पहले
point,
थे।
camps नहीं थे. मुझे लगता है कि एक होता है कि आप दोस्त होते हो. There used to be certain people who worked with certain people. More than camps, it was just that,
Comfort level.
It was a comfort level that you worked with and whom you didn't work with. I didn't have a camp. I worked with everybody. So, I mean, that camp system, again, it kind of eluded me, to be honest.
But Ajay Devgan was okay about you being friends with SRK?
Absolutely.
There was never... all those stories that were out there in the media, they were all posts.
They were pretty much rumors. They
Yeah?
were literally rumors. Genuinely nothing really happened. I mean, they weren't like, oh, buddy, let's share a beer. But yeah, I mean, I think today they are really like, I think they truly, truly respect each other. And
there's no awkwardness that you're friends with some people who are not so comfortable, maybe, or not friends with your husband.
No.
That's all right.
Absolutely. I think that's been pretty much that's a boundary, really. And as people, we are individuals. I will like some things, he will not like some things. He will like some things that I will not like. And I think we both decided that, okay, that's fine. I mean, as long as I don't have to sit down and, I don't have to, sit down and whatever, I'm fine. You go ahead and have friends and, do what you want. So.
So let me also ask you, there's this huge debate about women in films, 8-hour work schedules, something that's come up. Do you think it's a fair ask?
So let me be very clear that I have, from the beginning of my career, pretty much done one shift and worked on one film at, when I was doing it. If I did one film, I finished one film, I worked one shift, and my mother backed me up. She backed me up 100%. So I never really I had a problem or anybody telling me that, oh, you must do this or you must do that. And, a movie is made like that. A movie is pretty much like this thing. There are days then you have to work from 9 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. There are days that you have to work where it's okay for you to do that one shift and go home. So it's you have to be flexible in that, because this is creative work. Sometimes things happen and you need to stay back and whatever. So I think that I think it's okay to write it down, maybe, but maybe actually speaking, there has to be a certain flexibility involved in filmmaking as well. And
But
that's
then what
from
happens to, women who have young kids? Are we being unfair to them is a question that gets asked.
So I want to tell you that whenever all the films that I've worked on, and I've worked with my daughter being 2.5 and all that, my producers were fabulous with me. They always, kind of gave me that time and, did whatever and, worked through it. And it's you talk to the people, the people that you're working with around you or whatever. And as long as you talk to them and tell them that, listen, hello, this has to be done or whatever. I think most people, most producers really,
They
go
respect
out.
that?
They do respect it, and they do go out of their way for you.
And is there some sort of an insecurity as an actor? Because longevity of an actor, especially if they happen to be women, is always a question mark. Shadi ho gayi, bacche ho gaye, ab now her career is over. Do you want to, is there this attempt to maximize while you can? And does that make people insecure?
I think it used to be there. I think it used to be there before social media came in. I think, like I said before, I think social media changed that game. Before social media, it was that if you did a film, that was all you did in your life. You could never be an entrepreneur, or you could never be anything else, It was just that one thing marked you for the rest of your life. It didn't matter what you went on to do after that. And social media, somewhere down the line, broadened that. It took away the star appeal, I would say that. It took away the stardom. But what it did give you in return was that it broadened your entire longevity to including a lot of other things. You are suddenly
Multidimensional.
absolutely. And you are suddenly relevant despite the fact that you may not be just an actor anymore. You are doing other things and you are relevant, therefore, because of it.
What do you think about these airport looks?
Please don't ask me about airport
Tell
looks.
me, if
It's
you were to do something like that,
ridiculous.
ke pehen ke just
It is ridiculous. I truly think it is ridiculous. I have not understood the concept. I have not understood why everybody's, first of all,
Social
when you're
media?
traveling, can you understand that we're going on a flight? Can you understand that you're in a pressurized compartment, you're flying, you're landing somewhere, you have to wear comfortable shoes and comfortable clothes and go. I mean, I find it ridiculous. I find the whole concept ridiculous.
So let me do a rapid fire. You're used to doing rapid fires. One word that comes to your mind describing the following. Virat Kohli.
Uh, I don't know how to put it in a nicer way, but revived,
Ranbir Kapoor.
great actor,
Narendra Modi.
a phenomena,
Rahul Gandhi.
Another phenomena.
Shah Rukh Khan,
King Khan.
Ayushmann Khurrana,
I don't have any words to describe him. I think he's a chameleon.
chameleon.
Yeah.
Okay. Many, in a nice way or in
In a very nice way.
Chameleons
I
are
think
not nice.
No, but they're able to change shape according to what is required of them, which is I find amazing.
Karan Johar,
Great fun.
Kangana Ranaut,
Um, a talker?
a myth about Kajol that you would love to bust.
A myth. Yeah. I don't know whether there are that many myths about me, but a myth about me that I would love to bust. Oh, yes. The myth is that when I'm walking fast, I'm angry. I'm actually not angry. I walk fast like that normally also.
You and Jaya Bachchan have that with the paparazzi. No? Are you in bad mood when you see paparazzi?
I'm not in a bad mood, but I don't see why I have to get out and shake everybody's hand wherever I am. I just don't see the point to it. I'm like, okay, you're doing your job, I'm doing my job. Let me get on with it.
Okay. What's one superstition you secretly believe in?
Superstition. I believe in touching my mother's feet when I start any project of any kind.
Oh,
I believe in that. That's my only superstition. I don't have it too much, but yeah, I believe in that.
that's very touching. And to give your mother,
My mother is my, like you say na, माँ है और माँ है, मेरे लिए दोनों एक ही हैं.
super. Ajay Devgan as a co-star or director, which one is tougher? Or husband?
I think he's tougher as a co-star than he is as a director. I think he's very easy as a director.
As a husband?
As a husband, he is, I would say 50-50.
मतलब
मतलब
bad moods?
हाँ होते हैं ना, मेरे भी बैड मूड्स होते हैं, उसके भी बैड मूड्स होते हैं.
लड़ाई होती है तो कौन किसको मनाता है?
लड़ाई होती है तो it depends on who won the last argument as well.
So do you maintain records?
Well, we try not to.
So
But
then how do you know okay, who won the last argument?
it depends on who remembers it also.
Okay. Your favorite travel destination in India and abroad?
My favorite travel destination. I love Goa. I do. I love Goa. I love it as a place. I love the food. I love everything about it.
And place for a holiday with the children? With the family?
Yeah, place for absolutely Goa.
Goa.
Yeah.
Okay, great. One movie that you regret saying yes to?
Again, not to this thing because I own that. Whether it was wrong, it was. I know it sounds terrible and I sound too goody two shoes when
Tera
I
hai,
say
mera
that.
hai, lekin mera hai.
हाँ बिल्कुल and I own it. I own up. They are my responsibility. They are my privilege. They are to my credit or to my discredit.
What next for Kajol?
What next?
Where do you want to go?
Lots. I don't know as yet, and that's the great part about it. I think
You don't have a next project in hand?
No, I don't have one. I don't know what I'm going to sign next. I have no idea what I'm going to do next. And and that's
what is the direction that you would want your life to take?
I would like to write. I want to try that, and
Direct?
And I want to work on who I want to be also. A lot of that as well. I am interested in that part of my growth. There's lots of stuff happening on that side of me.
Like, tell me. Like,
I think that I think I'm a better person today. I think I'm just more of me, clearer, much more. There's so much more clarity that I have today than I did even, 5 years back, say. So there's so much more clarity. There's so much more, like I said, that glass ceiling that we see over our heads, that I finally realized that I've created it. So
yeah, most of us create it ourselves.
yeah,
And it's up to us to break it.
exactly. So I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. I'm looking at 7 different things right now, and
Name them.
wondering. I can't. I really can't. It's just too soon to talk about all of it. But yeah, I want to do a lot of different things. I do. And I think I'm going to enjoy it.
Well, that's what life is all about, to have no regrets and to rediscover yourself at every stage and to
Absolutely.
push the boundaries and see where life can take you and you can take life. Well, you're somebody who actually gives everybody. And when I'm looking at you, Kajol, you know, that bit about Tanuja ji, that is so visible when you
Thank
look
you.
at.
I think of it as a great compliment that you think that I look like my mother. That's huge, huge compliment for me because I think she's one of the most beautiful women in the
Most
world.
beautiful. And
Yeah. And coolest. Yeah.
coolest has lived life at her terms, and just this whole thing, you know, I don't know if something like this can be even described, but the way your shoulders taper down is almost something that I associate so much with Tanuja ji. I'm a huge fan, and my all-time favorite is a song in which, even though it is a Mohammad Rafi song, "Aapke Haseen Rukh pe Aaj Naya Noor hai,"
Yeah.
and you know, you think about that song and you think about Tanuja. So
Thank you. Thank you so
great
much.
genes, and I'm sure the generations that it has come from will go down the generations. Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much, Kajol, and all the very best for your new film. And it is something that each one of us as women would love. Ma,
Absolutely.
just simply that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.